It's game week 19 and it's the final prediction video for this year. I do appreciate all of you guys loving the series, keeping in touch with us, telling us about our schools, and I can't lie, you guys have enjoyed it. The same way we've enjoyed it, even though I'm last place, but I'm making a nice little comeback. The comeback is there. Come on, baby. You know who I support. You know the remontada time. You know what I've done in my lifetime. Trust me, I will make a comeback. But as of right now, Shaib is still leading with 92 points, Hussein with 87, Hasib with 86, and myself with 79. Before we get to the first game of this game week, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel, of course. Shout out all of you guys who's been loving the second channel. I'm on 21K, I think. Let's get this to 25K. Let's keep pushing and pushing. I want to get this channel to 50K by the end of next year before I get to 2027, inshallah. But the first game is Burnley versus Newcastle, and both teams are going through a rough patch. Newcastle, at the moment, they can't buy a win. They can't seem to buy a win, especially against the teams which they should be winning. Burnley, I watched the last 5 minutes against the game against Everton, and they should have won. They had a nice little chance. We'll check the post in the last 9 seconds of the game. I'm going to be real. Newcastle's coming into this game with a lot of injuries. A lot of players are missing. The same way goes to Burnley with about two of the main players at AFCON. I do think Burnley can get something from this game, and I do think this is the kind of game which Newcastle will continue to struggle, even though they've got a nice little run. But I don't think they'll win. For some reason, I don't think they'll win this game. Hence the reason why I've gone with a 1-1 draw. Hasib and Hussein has predicted Newcastle to win, and Shaib has agreed with a draw between Newcastle and Burnley. Next game is between Chelsea and Bournemouth. Chelsea, they absolute must win this game. After what they've done in the last couple of games, and after now being 5th in the league. Yes, you heard it correctly. 5th. At one point, they were 2nd. At one point, they were challenging for the league. They're now 5th. 2 points behind Liverpool. 10 points behind Villa. And God knows how many points behind Arsenal. At the moment, the main priority, starting from now, is top 4. Forget the league, forget challenging, forget 2nd, forget 3rd. Chelsea's main priority now is literally fighting and challenging for that top 4 spot, which can go anywhere at this point because so many teams are fighting for it. Bournemouth, on the other hand, at the moment, their priority is try not to go close to relegation because, bro, they haven't won in the last 9 games. And the last game against Brentford, I watched the highlights. Disgusting defending. Disgusting performance. Especially in that first half. And the goals which they conceded. It's so sloppy. It's just bad defending. Chelsea, I do think will win. Because Burnley at the moment are going through a very rough... Bournemouth are going through a very rough patch. And there's no way I see Bournemouth beating Chelsea. But if they do, if Bournemouth end that drought and actually win this game, then, bro, I don't know what else I can say about this Chelsea team. I don't know. I've got no words to describe this Chelsea team. But I do think Chelsea will win. Hence the reason why I've won with a 3-0 Chelsea. And the rest of the boys all agree on a similar result as well. Then we've got Forest versus Everton. And Everton will go through a rough patch, man. Forest, even though they lost against City, they haven't done bad. But Forest, they need to pick up points because West Ham are behind them. Everton on a nice little cushion, nice little healthy spot where they're about 15 points above West Ham, so they're not even thinking about relegation, whereas Forest, they are, and that's why they need to win. Everton, I'm not convinced, man. We've seen all the reports about Grealish, him going out, clubbing before the game against Burnley, missing out the game against Burnley due to a fever, and look what happened. They go through their own messes. I do think Forest will win. I've gone with a 2-0 Forest win. Hasib has predicted a draw. Hussein has predicted a Forest win, and the same goes to Shaib with a 3-1 Forest win. Then we've got West Ham against Brighton, and both teams have not won in the last 5 games. Both teams are basically desperate for a win. They are both desperate for a win. Even more West Ham. West Ham are so... They are on their knees, bro. They are on their knees. They need a win so badly because at the moment they're 18th. They're trying to catch Forest, but Forest, they haven't won. But if Forest win against Everton, then that means they have to win there. I think they're about 5-6 points behind Forest, and Burnley's behind them as well. Burnley's like 1 or 2 points behind them. So West Ham must win. Brighton, I saw a stat that Haseeb mentioned on the SDS podcast. Apparently, the manager, Hosler, he hasn't won a single game in December for Brighton. That goes last season and this season. So both last season and this season, I think his record is like 6 draws and 6 losses, 0 wins. This is the final game of 2025. So I think it will continue. I think they're not going to win as well. Hence the reason why I've predicted West Ham to win 2-0. Haseeb has predicted Brighton to win, and the rest of the boys has all predicted West Ham to win as well. They will go United against Wolves. Wolves are still not won a game. They've got 2 points. Put the relegation in the bag because they are there. That's where they're going to. But the thing is with Wolves, I've watched the game against Arsenal where they played Arsenal away from home, and I've watched the game against Liverpool where they played Liverpool away from home. And fam, they looked good. They could have won. Both games, they could have won. Against Arsenal, they were moments away from picking up a draw. Against Liverpool, that second half performance, they should have won. They should have won. So I'm looking at this with can they do it? But United, they managed to stay compact. They managed to stay strong. They managed to stay great mentality to basically win that game against Newcastle, despite not being great in the second half. And I think that will continue. I do think United will win. I don't think it will be close. I don't think it will be a massive, like a blowout win, like 3-0. I do think it will be close. I think Wolves will get the chances, but I do think United will win. Hence the reason why I've gone with 2-1 with Man United, and the rest of the boys have predicted 2-0, and Hussein has used his double points. Then we've got the game of the game week, the biggest game of the game week. Game week 19 is all about Arsenal versus Aston Villa. This is the game which the title challenging at both teams. Arsenal, of course, top of the league. Villa, 3 points behind them. And they're going off through this crazy streak of 11 games in a row across all competition. 9 games in the Premier League, which is the all-time record. Like, this game is so massive. And Villa deserves all the credit because they are now part of this charter challenge. Like, no one can say otherwise. But at the moment, I'm still 50-50 with Villa. I'm still 50-50 whether they can continue, whether they can carry the momentum or not. This is the game which I'll look at Villa with a lot of whether they can do it or whether they can't. If they can do it, if they actually beat Arsenal or even pick up a draw, then I will look at Villa as a serious title challenger. If they don't, then I do think over the next coming weeks, they might fade away, and other teams like Chelsea or Liverpool, they might slowly to catch up with them. The thing is, they come into this game with 2 massive suspensions in Kamara and Matty Cash. So the right-hand side is now vacant, and Kamara, who's been a massive part of that midfield, is now also going to be missing that game. Arsenal comes to this game with, again, yes, they've only beaten Brighton 2-1 or Everton 1-0 or Wolves 2-1. They've played well in most of those games, like except for the games against Wolves. But the Everton game, they played well. That should have been a 3-4-0 win. Against Brighton, that should have been a 4-1. A 5-1 win. So I think the results, the way the result looks, the scoreline clouding people's judgment about how good Arsenal's been over the past last few weeks. I do think Arsenal will win, but I don't think it's going to be a 1-0 win. I actually think it's going to be a very convincing win, 2-0, where they're going to miss chances. It should be 4-5 win, but I don't think Villa will win. I can't see a world where Villa will go to Emirates and actually pick up. If Villa do it, if Villa actually picks up 3 points, then my goodness, then I don't know what else to say. I mean, I'll put my hands up, of course. I don't know what more I can say about this Arsenal team or this Villa team, but time will tell. Let's see. But at the moment, I've gone with a 2-0 Arsenal win. Haseeb has used his double points. Shoaib has used double points. Both predicting Arsenal to win, and Hussein has predicted 2-1 Arsenal. Then we'll go Palace against Fulham on the first day of 2026. No games on the 31st of December. Palace against Fulham. Palace are struggling, and I kind of predicted it with that's the reason why I haven't predicted Palace to win the last 2 games. There's a reason why I predicted the last 2 games. I was the only one predicting the other team to win. So whether Leeds or Spurs, and I got it right. I don't, because Palace are missing 3 or 4 of the main key players. Whether that's Ismail Assar, whether that's Manus, whether that's Kamada. They're missing some key players, and the current players, which they have, the Matetas, the Walton, are struggling. They're not hitting form, great form. I do think it will continue, hence the reason why I've predicted Fulham to win. The same way Fulham has won the last 2 games against Forest 1-0 or against West Ham 1-0. I do think it will continue, hence the reason why I've gone with Fulham to win 1-0. Hasib has predicted Fulham to win, and Hussein has predicted Palace to win, and Shaib has predicted a draw. Then we've got Liverpool versus Leeds, and this is actually a big game because Liverpool are going through a good run. 4 wins, 2 draws in the last 6 games. So they're unbeaten in the league. They're now 4th in the league. They're climbing up in that leaderboard and that ranking, and they are now in a good, comfortable position. For them, it's all about wins. For them, it's not nothing about performances. For them, it's all about wins. As long as they win, like the game against Wolves, that second half performance, it was disgraceful. The amount of times which it should have conceded, they didn't. But even if you go back through the last couple of performances, it hasn't been that great. Except maybe against Brighton. I think the Brighton game was pretty good. But the last game against Wolves was so bad to watch, especially in the second half. Leeds has actually done well. Leeds have actually done pretty well in the last couple. They are unbeaten the last 5 games. They've done very well in the last 5 games. The game against Sunderland, they should have won in that second half performance, and they've picked up some good results. I do think it will continue, and I've gone with my surprise result. I think Leeds will win 3-1. I think it will continue, and I think Liverpool's defensive, the way they are defensively, it will be very much exposed this game. They've been very lucky over the past couple of games where other teams have not taken advantage of the chances. I think it will change. Calvert-Lewin, fam, he's on a crazy run. I can see him scoring 1 or 2 goals. I've gone with Leeds to win 3-1. I know, different. I know, surprise. That's the reason why I'm not first. That's the reason why I'm always last in this prediction video, because I keep going with different results. But I do think, for some reason, my heart tells me Leeds will win 3-1. Hasib has predicted, and Shaib has predicted Liverpool to win 3-1, and Hussein has predicted a 2-2 draw. Then we've got Brentford versus Spurs. Thomas Frank against his former team. The last time he played against his former team, he won, of course. I do think that will continue, and I think Spurs will continue to win. Especially, they've had a nice little run. The game against Palace, they won 1-0 with a clean sheet. I think we'll continue with this game, and I've gone with Spurs to win 2-0. But let's go straight into the second biggest game of the game week. Whatever happens with Arsenal versus Villa, this is the game that will tell us a lot as well about Man City. They're going away from home to Stadium of Light. They're going away to Sunderland, who has been very good this season. This is a massive game for both teams. And this is a game which I do think it looks tough on paper because City's going away from home to a Sunderland team who's been very good at home, has picked up good results, have beaten some of the biggest teams. They've drawn against Arsenal at home. So you look at this game and you say to yourself, the Sunderland's great. City has been very good. City has been, look at the last run they've had. And I think it will continue. I don't think Sunderland are as great as they have been over the past couple, especially the last 2 games, without their main key players at AFCON. And I think that's going to hurt them against City. Hence the reason why I think City will win. I've used my double points. I'm pretty sure City will win. And I'm pretty sure it'll be a 2-0 win. And they will keep a clean sheet. I've got City 2-0. Hasib and Hussein and Shaib has all predicted City to win. But we've got all different score lines. Let's see who gets it right. But these are our predictions for game week 19 of the Premier League. Put down in the comment section what your predictions are. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you soon with the first video of 2026. Or actually, the match review for tomorrow, Arsenal versus Villa. Peace.